Hi, everyone.
Hey.
I'm Alicia.
And I'm Meredith.
And this is It's About the Pasta, a Vanderpump Rules podcast, season 11, episode 8. We have my least favorite person on this episode a lot, and I want to die. And I can't wait to talk about her because I want to die when I talk about her.
I thought you would. I do want to clarify one thing about Joe because we got a lovely comment on Instagram about
From her?
not using.
Just kidding.
Nope. About making sure our language is good because being weird. We talked about like Joe being weird last episode, and like it's okay to be weird. And I was like, oh, Alicia and I are the weirdest in great ways. Like weird, I think,
the weirdest
is sometimes has this negative connotation. I don't have words for Joe, and that's where I struggle.
Yeah, I think that's where I was at a loss, was like I just said weird in a way that I didn't know how else to explain it.
Elaborate. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a good comment. For sure, if you listen, we're not weird. So
That's the thing.
we know. Joe is just from a different planet, if you will.
I just don't know how to describe her in any way that
I
really
do.
hits home.
I do. She's what the Gen Z would call chuggy.
No, I don't think so.
Chuggy.
I don't think so.
I do. I think she's cringe and she's chuggy.
I think she's cringe for sure. But chuggy to me is
Isn't
like,
that what chuggy means? It's just another cringe.
Well, it's like chuggy? Cringe, like with outdated millennial things, like move on. Like that's not like don't wear that anymore type of things.
So she's cringe.
Like that's embarrassing.
Cringe instead of weird.
Cringe. That's our word. But
cringe.
Yeah, I just want to note that we're not Joe fans
chuggy
by any
for not knowing what that's called. What chuggy means.
But we're fans of everybody being weird in their own right.
Oh yeah, do it. I mean, you want to know what's weird? We have a podcast we won't promote on our own stuff because we're afraid people will listen. And we don't want people knowing they listen.
That's so funny. Weird. I decided the minute we hit 100,000 downloads, which are very close to everyone, I'm like, it's so exciting. I'm ready to post it on my personal socials. So
I will only post about one season wonders, as that is my baby.
That is the best one.
Speaking of, let me get done with all this like housekeeping so then I can talk about the show and the cringe that came with it. So check us out on the NM Podcast Network. We have this podcast. We have Summer's Fun of Summer House podcast, which also covers Winter House and Summer House Martha's Vineyard. And we have One Season Wonders, the only show I will promote. Please be sure to rate, review, subscribe. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Vanderpasta. Meredith's a TikTok star now. She dubbed me. She's amazing.
It was really fun. I'm ready to get more active on TikTok.
And join our Patreon, patreon.com/Vanderpasta. Let me tell you what you can get. For $1 a month, you get access to all of our fun pre-shows where Meredith and I, and sometimes Sarah, when she has a good Wi-Fi, talk about whatever the hell we want because it's our show and we can do it. Also, you get access to any episodes we record early, including this one. It's probably on the Patreon first. For $2 a month, you get access to everything I just mentioned. Plus, when we go back and we watch old episodes, we will do an after show to talk about Bravo News. We won't give away spoilers on the podcast, but since this is live, we'll just give away any spoilers we want on this podcast. But no worries, we'll also say your name. So thank you to Allie, Chris, Darby, Dee, Gabriella, Jackie, Jamie, Jennifer, Kirsten, Casey, Kelsey, Chrissy, Lady Swamp Witch, Lauren, Lindsay, Robin, Sammy, Sarah L, Sarah R, Tierney, Tonette, Tracy, Emily, Gina, Isabella, Leanne, Taylor, and Tara.
Woohoo!
Killed it.
Thank you guys so much for joining.
New names I love, but I'm not ready, you know?
Listen, that's why people really should join. Just throw Alicia off her game.
There were 2 in a row this time that I went crazy. No, but thank you so much. We appreciate you. We appreciate the community we have fostered. I love when I go onto Patreon and I see people like patrons responding to other patrons about stuff. And I love that so much.
It's so fun. I feel like we're in a great groove, and I'm so excited for our Zoom call with everyone with our $5 patrons. So make sure you join that level here in April. We're doing that.
Yes. And then we have a $5 tier, which is when in live seasons, I will post in the Patreon for every episode, and you can give us your thoughts, questions, opinions, concerns, whatever you really want, and we'll read them on the podcast. My only thought and ask is that there aren't too many big words that I won't understand. Also, we will pick a patron of the episode. So this week's patron of the episode is Lauren.
Woo-hoo!
Lauren's always given us so many thoughts, and I can't believe I have not picked her until now. But Lauren, unfortunately, this cringy little episode is free.
It's free.
You're welcome. We do the Lord's work. You know us. Devote Catholics through and through.
Episode. Oh my God, I feel like the description needs to say like Alicia and Meredith cringe.
The cringiest episode you've ever seen.
It's like the spiral on the like how TV shows used to be. Ding.
I love. Okay, let's get into the episode. So previously on Vanderpump Rules, Scheana is sad that she's not dancing with the star. I want everyone to know, this is my favorite plot line. I think it is so funny how she took dance classes and didn't get asked.
It brings me joy. Her pain here brings me such joy.
You can't take Scheana seriously. It's so funny. Okay, no. Sandoval's worried about Rachel, but she's mad at him. Scheana's OCD is getting bad and she doesn't want to leave Summer Moon, but Brock does. And then Katie and Lala fight. And I've never been more sexually attracted to Katie in my whole life than when she said, "Say it with your whole chest, bitch." And I went,
oh. Alicia, people loved that you said that.
Were other people agreeing? As a straight woman, I've never freaked out like that before. It was amazing.
I don't know if they clarified if they were agreeing or not, but they loved that you loved it for sure.
Thank you so much. I'm on a journey, apparently. And I love Katie Maloney. You should listen from season 1 to see how much I loved Katie then.
Yeah.
And now where I am, what a contrast. Now I want her to choose me.
It's like you get to be in the place in your life where it's like, oh my God, I am Katie Maloney, and I love.
I wish I was Katie Maloney. Oh my God.
Yeah, but like Katie's life aligns with ours the most, you know.
You're right. Should I move to LA and join her little girl group? I can't believe you haven't
thought about this. I thought that's why you like were such a stan.
And never this season have I even remotely compared myself to Katie Maloney. I am not worthy. But you're
I'm
right.
not saying we are like her, but like she's our character. She's us. She's the like person who's most like us that we're watching on the screen.
Oh my God. All I'm hearing freaking is out that over this? She is me and I am her.
Alicia equals Katie Maloney.
I cannot believe. Anyway, I'm sweating. Okay, so. Okay, so because it's a cringy episode, this is going to be a really good one for us. Anyway.
Absolutely.
Okay, we do that thing where we see people in their apartments. Nothing really to note besides Summer Moon is picking out an outfit that matches her cast. I feel like that's necessary.
Yes.
And then Joe is at Schwartz's apartment, and her title that Bravo gives her, it starts out with Tom Schwartz's friend and switches to Tom Schwartz's friend who totally does not live with him.
The way it's the entire screen. The entire screen, I've never seen a name take up that much space.
Who did that? They're so shady.
They're being so sassy lately.
The editor who did that also was sexually attracted to Katie when she said, "Say it with your whole chest."
1,000%.
Yeah, she did that.
1,000%.
And then James also, he gets electrocuted by a flower. And Allie gives the energy she gave last season when he got water in his eye. Remember?
The way he goes back for a second, like, I just want to confirm if this is happening. He's like, whoa.
Yeah. He was awesome. Okay, then we go to Ariana and Sandoval's house. Sandoval is getting his house ready for a pool party. And Ariana is upstairs FaceTiming Katie. Ariana tells Katie she's getting out of the house because of this party. And Katie's actually going to go get dinner with Lala. And Katie just doesn't know how it's going to go. So we'll see.
I'm nervous too. Where are we in this friendship? I'm very stressed about it.
So the pool party starts. No one really of note is here besides Schwartz, I guess. But if that's your most notable guest, I don't know. They're also drinking non-alcoholic whiskey.
No. They're not just drinking it. They're ripping shots of this. I don't think shots are that enjoyable to like want to do this with another
A
substance.
non-alcohol.
Yeah.
Like, I only take shots to get drunk.
Yes. Or take a shot of like Benadryl to get better.
Here's my question. Do you think non-alcoholic whiskey burns going down?
That's a
Like, are
really
you
good
just
question.
suffering through the bad of a shot?
I think no. I think that's truly the like chemical alcohol that hurts.
So it
I
just tastes
understand.
bad.
Well, I don't like whiskey, so like no matter what, I don't
I
think
don't
this would be
either.
for me. So yes, I think to you it would taste bad, and to me, because we don't like enjoy that taste anyways. I understand why, like, if you want to make a non-alcoholic old fashioned, or like there's like ways that this is like there is a market for this. But yeah, I don't understand the like ripping shots of non-alcoholic anything.
Okay, good. Not just me.
I would only do one as a water shot if I was a person who was sober and wanted the camaraderie of it. But if we are
Yeah.
all not drinking, I don't understand this.
Also, you could probably only get me to take like one non-alcoholic whiskey shot, and then I'd be done. I'd be
Well,
like,
I think they would do like a non-alcoholic vodka for you. Like we would find a different non-alcoholic liquor. Why am I making even this a possibility?
I'm just drinking potato juice? Like, the fuck is the point? I'll just be sober. I don't know. Anyway, Ariana leaves, and then we go to the Henry where Katie and Lala are meeting up. They sit down. They start out strong in communicating their feelings, where they say they're both not feeling good about this friendship right now. They don't like how last night went. Lala says this was the third time she felt like Katie was looking at Lala like her enemy. They both agree that they've hit below the belt with each other and they aren't proud of it.
Which that is so huge to be like, you know what, we both suck in our own way. Like they didn't say the other person sucked. They were just like, I didn't like who I was. They are so mature. This conversation, I was like, should I write notes on how to deal with conflict?
From these two? Amazing. Katie and Lala have been ride or dies for many years, but fitting into each other's lives now is different. Lala in her interview says that she's trying to get soft and heal from trauma and not end up like a miserable bitch. And Katie is happy on her warpath. And I was like, you know what though? Go Katie.
I was going to say, like, no diss to Katie. Like, if you got to sit in your warpath for however long you wanted to, like, let Katie be on hers. Like,
Katie could do it.
Yeah.
So Lala tells Katie she's trying not to wear her trauma, but when she brings it up to other people, she's not trying to make it about her. Katie understands, but says it feels that way. But Katie agrees to be softer with Lala because she knows her toxic trait is her tone and her delivery. And I was like, the self-reflection.
I mean,
am I sexually attracted to her again?
I love that. You know what? You know who I think needs like to be more like Katie? Lindsay Hubbard over on Summer House.
Lindsay Hubbard, yes, 100%.
Like, hey, Katie, can you go chat with your friend? Because, like, at least you know. I mean, it's two battles. It's, like, knowing, and then once you know, like, you should try to, like, fix it. But the first battle is figuring it out.
They both went to Ariana's show the same night. Maybe Katie was like, hey, bitch, I've been watching your show. Just idea.
Hey, let me tell you how to handle some things. From
Sorry about your
I know you're the PR
engagement.
queen. Yeah, but let me tell you how to handle.
Carl dumped you, but you should use a better tone.
Yeah.
You bitch. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so Lala is worried one day they're going to say something to each other and it's going to be so hurtful that they're not going to be able to come back from it. So they're sorry and they hug. And it's cute, but we did find out Lala, I think, told us that their friendship was not in a good place before the season 10 reunion. So it's not in a good place now.
Okay, so that's what Lala said last week on Watch What Happens Live, and then Katie was on Watch What Happens Live after this episode, and Katie was like, I don't know what she's really referring to. Like, she was like, I know of a fight we had, but like, I don't see it the same way. Like, that we weren't friends, I think, going into that. So I don't think it's as clear cut to like what this big fight was to Katie. I think she acknowledged that they had like a disagreement, but that they had already moved past it by the time the reunion came.
is Lala holding on to her anger on her warpath?
I don't know.
I'm just kidding.
I don't
kidding.
know.
I'm not.
Like, I was like, I need more of this, but it seems like, because then Andy and they filmed the reunion this past weekend, and Katie and Andy were talking about it, like alluding to it during the episode too of Watch What Happens Live. And it seems like Lala and Katie might go at it at the reunion. So like, I'm excited for the rest of this season. I've heard it gets really good, but I'm also like, get me to the reunion again.
Oh my God. I'm so excited to watch Katie do it again at the reunion.
I mean, whew.
Say it with your whole chest.
Buckle up. No idea where this friendship is going.
I'm so excited. Okay, so we go back to Tom and Ariana's house. We're doing this pool party. There's a shirtless girl in the pool. Schwartz and Sandoval talk. Sandoval, he got a few girls' numbers from See You Next Tuesday, which who the hell is giving this man their number?
Well, if you're going to See You Next Tuesday, you have to know about Vanderpump Rules. Like, there's no way you stumble upon Sir and have never heard of Scandal at this point in time.
Girlies, stop it. Stop giving this man your number. He has proved he does not deserve it.
Yes.
Schwartz tells him, like, hey, good for you getting those numbers. But you shouldn't bring a girl back to this house. And Sandoval, like, gets that Schwartz is trying to be diplomatic, but Sandoval's not doing anything wrong because this is half his house. Surprisingly, Schwartz is somehow all together at this point.
Yeah, but it comes off fake to me. Like, you're only doing this because you like need to publicly be somewhat hard or like supportive of Ariana, and like it feels like the whispering of like great job before it just it kind of feels like disingenuous than like what comes after.
I mean, it's Tom Schwartz. So then Billy Lee is sitting with Sandoval and asks her if he's met her friend T. I think Billy was trying to set up T and Sandoval, but Sandoval's got other girls coming, like Michelle, who texts him. So they're here. We have to, for some reason, meet Kate and Michelle, who like, who the fuck cares? I don't know which is which. It doesn't matter.
This was so awkward. All of this.
Stop giving me blonde girls. I can't tell them apart.
Alicia really struggles with them. Leave them alone. Especially, like, man, why can't I even think of the other girls' names from Winter House? No idea.
They all start with J's. They all probably start with a J.
I mean, maybe I'm a little harsh here, but does every person who comes on reality TV as not even a B character, as a Z character, like we'll see once in a lifetime, do we really need names?
No.
I mean, like,
why do I care about T or Kate or Michelle?
Yeah, like, you exist as a person. Like, that's great. But in reality TV and the entertainment of it, I don't need 700 names presented to me. Like, girls from the bar.
From See You Next Tuesday.
Yeah, you're not an actual character on this show. You are a blip in this universe.
You know who's not a blip is Anne, and she's actually here for some reason. I was like, Anne, go home.
She's passing out the like non-alcoholic shots in like normal people street clothes, and I'm like, Anne, I want to raise a GoFundMe for you. Like, if she wasn't already out of this situation, I really think there'd be a GoFundMe to like save Anne from this toxic work environment.
Truly. So in the pool, Sandoval cheers to staying positive and testing negative.
There's so many gross cheers I've heard in my lifetime, and that ranks number 2.
So then I didn't take a lot of notes, but we got to watch Sandoval hit on these 2 blonde girls that no one cares about.
Oh my God.
Basically, he tells them he's never been married, but he'll probably be married by next year, knowing him. Haha. And then he goes, have you ever been to Burning Man? I feel like this would be a good time for me to go. And then he talks about how his roommate is his ex-girlfriend. And then he says, he jokes about locking Ariana in her room and feeding potato chips through the bottom crack of the door. And I
was so uncomfortable.
Is he a serial killer?
Like, it just comes off like he's word vomiting because he's uncomfortable and like nobody's responding, and then it just keeps continuing to get worse. Like, I want to truly know if the editors like cut out any responses, or is this truly how it went? Like, I'm cool for you making a show, but like also I do have a lot of curiosity about like how that conversation actually went. Because if it was what was given to us, I am even more concerned.
Oh, no. When he went, I lock her in the room and I feed potato chips to her through the door. I literally went, the things these girls must be thinking.
I want to know what their group text was like when they left this house.
Yep.
Please release the text.
It was weird.
I need to know what your thoughts were leaving this household.
It was weird. If you are these girls, please reach out to us. I'd love to know your thoughts.
Yeah,
I have
and
questions.
The fact that he was like, I'm joking, obviously. I'm like, no.
That's literally how I picture a serial killer, like trying to get me to go home with him. I'm obviously kidding about killing a woman, a blonde woman, nonetheless. Just I'd be like, God. He has a type. He has a type that he kills, and it's me.
The fact that in his interview he's like, I'm a little rusty. I haven't done this in a while, and I'm like, how did you get
these women?
I was like, how did seeing this? Also, by the way, in the pool that we know, this is how the Raquel Sandoval first hookup went down. So I'm like, this entire time I'm imagining
I didn't even think of that. That's amazing.
With Raquel is he said he was rusty, but I'm like, how did you get Raquel then? That either makes it way worse that if he was this rusty with her.
He gave her a towel.
A towel. I know. Later he puts a towel around his body and I was like, not the towels.
The towels. He has a shed full of them. He told her so they could go swimming.
I was like, I don't know what's better. If he gets better with time because he just knew Raquel and they were actually friends, or if this really was his game with Raquel. I'm just so concerned in all of it.
Yeah, does this work?
I don't know. I bet it does.
Do you think to get Ariana to make out with him at the Golden Nugget, he told her that he had locked Kristen in her room for the weekend and was feeding her?
I bet he probably made a similar joke, but I bet he was better once upon a time. I feel like he has gotten rusty, and then anybody he has cheated on Ariana with was so easy. They were probably already predisposed to be interested in him, and that, so they were easy to engage with, is what I mean. Not easy in the slutty sense.
Yeah, I think it was also probably I'm in a bad relationship. Mm-hmm. I want to be with you, and they were immediately
that's true. He doesn't have the poor, oh, woe is me, card to play right now. He has, I'm a serial killer with my ex locked in a room.
Oh my God, with the potato chips. Oh my God. Okay, so what I assume is the next day, Anne is cleaning up after the party.
Oh my God.
Ariana comes down to tell her that Scheana's coming over. And she's like, ew, the house is a mess. And Anne's like, I'm taking care of it. And I'm literally like, this is his maid.
This isn't just helping organize things after a party. This is truly a maid. Yeah. This isn't putting party decorations away. This gross. I can't believe she stayed this long.
Ugh. So Anne goes to find Sandoval in the workout room and tells Sandoval that Scheana's coming over. And Sandoval's like, no, that's great. Also, how's cleaning downstairs going? And I went, how dare you? And then he tells us that part of Anne's job is housekeeping, to just pick up the stuff that he leaves behind. He left behind sticky floors.
That's a thing. I get wanting your assistant to have a wide variety of tasks and to help keep your house organized and mail wise cleaning things up, the little things, the stuff things. I get that. But there's literally hair on the ground. Hire a cleaning service.
Gross. It's gross. So Scheana's here. Ariana and Scheana talk. Ariana invites Scheana to this game night thing that happens at some point. And then Ariana's like, hey, Scheana, are you upset with me? Because people keep telling me you are. And Sheena's like, oh, I hate when people put words in my mouth, especially Lisa. And Scheana does share. She's like, Ariana, my dream was Dancing with the Stars, and you didn't tell me you got it, and I wish you had. And she was so disappointed, and she cried, but she's genuinely happy for Ariana. And Ariana's like, you know what? I should have maybe told Scheana. And I'm like, great. We've solved the Dancing with the Stars drama.
But also, didn't Ariana say in her interview chair, like, she signed an NDA? Like, what was she supposed to do? Like,
yeah.
well,
How
yes,
did
I think
Dan know then?
I bet she told him, and that's what Scheana's probably also mad about, is like, I'm not in your inner circle anymore. But I just don't think their friendship is where it was a few years ago, and like, that's
I
okay.
agree. I do think it's just where you are in life. I think that's a big thing for
Mm-hmm.
friendships. Katie and Ariana are in the same place. They're
Yep.
basically single, doing their thing. They're starting a new business. Scheana and Lala are being moms and they're focusing on their families
Yeah.
and they're trying to build their pod. They both have the same job. They both podcast. Like,
Yes.
it's just
And
different.
Scheana takes this as a reflection of who she is, and I get that. Like, for my whole life, other people's actions, I like made it a notch of my self-worth, when it's like, you really got to take yourself out of it. It has nothing to do with you, or like where Ariana ranks you in her life, or how good of a friend you're being, or like all these other factors. Like, it has nothing to do with that. It truly is just like a moment in life and who is around her the most. So like, I'm sure Ariana got the news, and like, Dan's right there, and then like, Ariana's
Yeah.
taking a phone call, and like, Katie's right there, where it's not like she's like sitting them down and like telling the three people closest to her. It's like, I'm just around these people all day, like you mentioned. We're living the similar lives.
Yeah. Yeah, so then Ariana tells Scheana she's questioning if Scheana trusts her because she's hearing Sheena's not happy with her,
Mm-hmm.
but is telling other people and not her. And Scheana just says her and Lala are just they're together more often, and Lala
Yeah.
just rides so hard for her that Lala like heard about this and like went to Ariana to tell her. So Scheana just feels like Ariana used to be her person and now it's been more difficult and Ariana isn't receptive of her feelings, which like, yes, if they have to do with Sandoval, that
Which
is
also,
understandable.
that interview that Scheana gave, it's all about what Ariana was to her. And there was nothing like, we used to be so close.
Why are we shocked that Scheana is so self-absorbed? She cannot see it.
I know, but I really, it
Yeah.
it always
Yeah.
has to be about what Sheena's getting. Their relationship
Of
is about
course.
what Sheena's getting, and where
Of
Ariana,
course.
what information of Ariana's life Scheana gets, because like, that tells her like where she ranks and that she's important in like Ariana's life, and not like it. I think it needs to be mutual. Like, she doesn't care how much she's supporting Ariana,
Obviously.
or if
Yeah.
it's hurtful to Ariana that she talks about Tom to her. Like, it's just like, you're not supporting me with Tom. That's all. That's where
I think
it
she
starts and
does.
ends.
I think she does recognize that she shouldn't be talking to Ariana about Tom, but
Oh, I
she
don't think she
sees it
does.
as I think she does, but she sees it more as like if Ariana can tell me everything, I can tell her everything. Like it's an all or
Mm.
nothing. Like she is so concerned over Ariana being mad at her that she's friends with Tom that she almost made herself sick about it in Tahoe, right? That's what Lala was saying. She's like, Sheena's
Yeah.
concerned. But Scheana and her friendships, it has to be all or nothing. It's like either we talk about literally all of our feelings or we're not
Yep.
friends. Similar to
Yeah.
Sandoval, she just can't be cool
Which
with
I
him.
get
She
that. I have
must
a
be
very black and
friends.
white view on things too. And I'm trying to learn that, like, if you don't talk to someone for 3 weeks, that doesn't mean you're not friends. That's just where you're at in life. Like,
Yeah,
for
or
a
if you
while, like,
can't
in my
talk to
mind,
someone about certain things,
yeah.
I find my friendships, I have certain friends for certain things. If I'm sad, I have certain friends I'll go to. If I need advice, I have different friends I'll go to. If I need to vent, I have different friends. Like it just
Which
depends how a
I need
relationship
to get
is.
better at that. And I don't think Scheana does that too. I think Scheana and I it's weird to be like,
Oh
oh, I
my
don't mean
god,
the person I hate the most.
twins.
But it's
Twins.
like,
Just
I
kidding.
see where she struggles, and maybe that's why it like sets me off so much, because I don't want to be Scheana.
Yeah, it frustrates me how Scheana can't divide it because I can very easily. But I know
Mm-hmm.
Sheena's just that kind of person. Like
Yeah.
if I was friends with Scheana, I would probably honestly kind of be like Katie, where I'd be like, where Katie is now, where she's like, I know Scheana for Scheana at this point, and
Yeah.
like I'm not asking for anything out of the realm.
It's knowing who people are and what you're going to get with them, and just accepting it. And like, if they're really bad to you, like, you don't need them in your life, like the Sandovals. But like, Scheana is not doing things like maliciously or trying to hurt you. But it's like, I
That's the
also don't need to
thing.
be your best friend. Like,
That's
we can be
it.
friends.
Sheena's so all or nothing. Like she just
Mm-hmm.
can't. So Sheena brings up that her and Sandoval, you know, they had this 14-year friendship and she misses who he was 14 years ago. And Ariana does get it. She says she gets it. And maybe sometimes she misses that person too, but she immediately like loses that feeling because she is able to recognize who this person is now. And again, I think there's two different people, right? I'm able to recognize who people were and who they are now and cut it off. But I know a lot of people who are like, oh, but they used to be such a good friend. I don't want to hate them. And I'm like, no, like it's different. And Scheana is.
I agree with you. Like, to me, they are two separate people. Like, I can sit there and reminisce and think about the person I loved, but to me, that person's, this is sad, but like dead, you know, like that person doesn't exist anymore. And now we have this version, and this person is completely untethered from the person I loved and like the experience I had.
There are some people who don't see it that way. So I think I think Scheana's just an all or nothing like person, which is
I also just think Scheana wants love all around her, which I get.
Yeah. Scheana doesn't hold grudge. She blows like she's gone with the wind.
Accepts any form of love and attention she can get her hands on.
Exactly. She rock it out. So Scheana says, what if years from now Sandoval did a bunch of work and then she hypothetically she wants to be his friend again? How would Ariana feel? And Ariana's like, she ain't slick. She's just trying to set it up, just like soften the blow when she becomes friends with Sandoval again. So Ariana
she's trying to like catfish Ariana into an answer that then she can use instead of years from now, she can use in 6 weeks.
Yeah, she's setting Ariana up. Ariana knows though, and she basically says she wouldn't judge Scheana, but she would like side eye because Sheena's in danger of this person. Yeah, I think Scheana is just missing that she can't have an all or nothing relationship with both of these people. Like I mean, look at her with Schwartz too. Back in season 10, she was like, "I'm friends with Schwartz, Katie, and I'm also with you." And Katie was like, "No."
Well, like you can't operate. Both. You can't have both at the degree of best friends that you want them to be. Like I think
she's not Scheana
could. That's it. And then she tries to be like, "What's wrong here? Like I am a good friend to you," and it's like, "Hey,
she's an idiot."
You can't see that like you being friends and communicating about me to somebody else is not being a good friend to me.
Yeah.
Even though you're not intentionally trying to do it, like it does affect me. It does affect like our relationship. And like you can't have it all. Like it truly is impossible to have it all anyways. But like in this situation, you really can't have it all.
Whatever. I love Shishu on my little TV screen. She's hilarious. She'll just never get it.
I think Ariana handled this conversation really well, though. Like it's really hard to confront your friend, and I think we got to see the piece of Ariana confront like Sheena's emotions, and like I think Ariana was really supportive, and I think Scheana did a really good job of explaining her feelings outside of the Tom Sandoval in a few years moment.
Yeah, I think Scheana did as best as she could.
Yes. Gold star for Scheana in her standards of life.
Okay. We get a park scene with Schwartz and Joe.
My good God.
Okay. So I would just like to start out. I, as a person, have zero fashion sense. I will say it, but I can spot a fashion don't from a fucking mile away. And let me tell you, purple basketball shorts and flip-flops, Joe.
That's the thing.
Joe.
The individual pieces, like the purple shorts, wouldn't bother me at at home, like little loungy set. We're all really casual these days. It's just the styling. And for me, it's a lot of her hair is a huge problem for me.
She has on another hat. This girl has so many hats.
And sometimes it's in like a half bun thing where there's like a loop there. And it's just like, she just doesn't look like put together. And, I love if she does not care at all what she looks like on TV, but like to me, I could never. And so it's really hard for me to receive the lack of caring on TV because I'm like, I cringe. Cringe is the perfect word of this episode.
It's not great. No. So they're so cringe. I don't even know what they're talking about.
I don't understand the point of this scene.
They just make noises at each other. Like, I don't know what they're doing.
She makes a lot of obscure noises as reactions to things, and I don't know why.
I couldn't have a conversation with this person. I would drop all my tea and they would go, ooh, ah, ee, ooh, ee. I'd be like, are you sounding out vowels? What are you doing?
I'm a very, I feel like, expressive person on my face, too, that I would just be in, like, shock and, like, my eyes would be wide the entire time.
I know. Okay, so Schwartz shares with producers that he could probably marry Joe and be happy, but he doesn't want to right now because he doesn't want to dive into a relationship, or he thinks he should just date other people and explore.
This is giving me Ring on the String vibes, like, in a different version. I'm like, you're leaving Joe on the hook, and that's where I hate Schwartz.
This man hates women. Joe. Even Joe, he does not care for a second about her feelings. Not for a second.
As much as I don't like Joe the character, like, nobody deserves this.
She obviously likes Schwartz. Like, it is so obvious.
She's trying to be the cool friend girl, and I've been there.
But for him to literally be like, I would love to marry her and she'd be great and we'd have a great life together. But like, my only reason for not doing that is just because I don't feel like it right now. So I'm going to keep her around. And you know what they do? They do a romantic swan paddle boat in some sort of lake park.
The way that producer was like, this like felt like a date. And his like... him saying, like, if I wanted to be married to her, I could, implies that she's just sitting there waiting for him. And, like, that's so shitty. If she if she is sitting there waiting for you, like, you're doing something to keep her on the hook. And if, like, the fact that you just think she's, like, waiting in the wings for you to, like, say, yes, you're into this. I hate it.
I hate it. Okay, so, while they're out there, Joe shares a story about how she was walking a turtle like a dog and it fell in a sewer and now it's a ninja turtle.
I weirdly thought this was like a kooky little like bit, but I'm like, again, what's the point here? This is the only time I thought that something was funny, but I was like, what? Why am I watching this though?
So Schwartz asked Joe if she's dating. She said she's going to hang out with, she's not dating, but she's going to go hang out with Allie. And I went, our Allie? My Allie?
She's officially full on the show. We're meeting up with other cast members.
So Joe says the other girls aren't giving her a fair chance, especially Katie. Also, she says this all in an interview while her legs are crisscross applesauce on the interview chair because she's in festival pants.
And it's the barrette and the hair. Like, it doesn't sit right for me.
The crisscross, I have never, in my 10 plus years of watching this show, never seen anyone go crisscross applesauce on the chair.
I know. I'm a big crisscross applesauce person. Like, I bought that viral TikTok chair because I love sitting like that. But I know.
You're on not that chair. Never. And you're being interviewed. I can't. Okay. Anyway.
I imagine the only thing the closest to that is like me recording this podcast or like recording a TikTok. And like, I can't imagine sitting crisscross applesauce where you could see my whole body. Crisscross applesauce.
I didn't know what else to call it. It was crazy. Anyway, Joe thinks any girl that Schwartz is with in the future is going to get a lot of hate. And I was like, well, but also...
But like, you're not Katie's the benchmark. His ex. Like, Katie has the right to dislike the next person who comes along. We all dislike the next person who comes along. Like, Joe is acting like that's weird for Katie to do.
Like, she wants to become friends with Kate. Like, that's weird. I don't want to be friends with my ex's new girl.
But what's even wilder is Joe is acting like she's meeting these people through the show. Like, Katie has known you probably for years through Kristen.
What did they say? She's Kristen Doty's crazy friend?
Crazy friend, which like...
That's crazy.
It's
my favorite way to describe Joe.
I can't. That would destroy me if somebody called me Kristen Doty's crazy friend.
I mean, Kristen Doty herself looks like she smells of stale beer and cigarettes.
So, like, how does it get wilder?
She's not the crazy
there?
one.
Yeah.
I need Christina Kelly to tell me what Joe looks like she smells like.
Like, if Kristen's the benchmark of normalcy, like, What planet are we on?
I love.
No.
Okay, so then we go to the Belmont, and I literally went, "Is this a whole cast thing?" Because we see a bunch of people. We got Sandoval, Schwartz, James, Allie.
But it gave me like we rented out the bar vibes, but like nobody came to the party. It like felt
no one
empty.
was there. Yeah, it was weird.
Sorry, keep going.
Sandoval wants to reconnect with his friends, and it feels good to do that. And then, just like they blew out the wind in his sails, because guess who walks up looking hot as ever? It is his nightmares, Ariana and Katie Maloney.
Ooh. I have a question for you.
Yes.
Is Sandoval hosting this event? Or is there a host at all?
I think it's the producer said everyone invite your friends.
Activity.
Let's just go to this bar.
Okay, this is just get everyone in the same room.
Yes,
it's not like a trip somebody's hosting or a dinner. This is just
bring Logan and like that guy that always works.
I spotted Logan and I was like, oh, we're like, this is what gave me like the bar is empty vibes. Like we rented out this space because we don't want normies there, and I get that. Like this has gotten too big. But it also was like, hey, we need to fill the room at the same time.
Bring Kyle Chen again, like get it out there. So, Lala says it's a big deal that Ariana's here because Ariana's probably here to reclaim her friends, and Lala's here for it, and so am I.
Me too, like, baby. Fuck him. Like, I want Ariana to be in the same vicinity as him to show, like, she's not going to change her life just if he shows up or doesn't. Like, he does not get to rule her life in any way, shape, or form. She will not speak to him or look at him. But, like, you don't get to choose where I do and don't go.
So Schwartz and Sandoval are like sitting at the end of the bar, and Katie goes to the bar to get a drink, and they're like, "Hey, Katie," and she is the queen of mean. I love her so much. She's like, "Hi," and they're like,
I don't even think that's mean.
It's not mean, but she's like an ice queen. Like she will not say hi. She will say hi, and you will know she's frosty.
That's the thing. She will not overgive any energy to somebody she does not care about, and I need more of that in my life. Like, you don't need to show up as your best version for every single person, and that's not mean.
It's not mean. That sounded bad, but she's frosty. But like, I love it.
No, I know what you meant. In my mind, I always think I need to be the most outgoing, the most bubbly, and it's like, not everybody deserves that.
No. Me, if I don't like you, you'll know. This is me. That's why I feel comfortable saying queen of mean, because I love when I'm like,
hell yeah. No, that's like a compliment in my mind. The way you were saying it.
And then Sandoval does compliment her hair, and she's like, "Thanks," and she just walks away with her drink, and I loved every second of it. And then Schwartz asks Sandoval if he can stand away because he doesn't want Ariana to see them together, which that cracked me up. That was some good Schwartz shit.
Oh my god,
that was good.
It's insane to me though, like 5 months after this affair, now you're worried about public perception.
He's like, could you stand away from me? And then he's like, just kidding. But if you want to, that's okay. So,
oh my God.
Ariana says she cannot let her ex hang out with all her friends and she just not be there for the rest of her life.
Mm-hmm.
And she's not looking around, but she feels Sandoval's eyes burning a hole through her head. So,
oh my God, it's so awkward.
So then Katie and Ariana invite everyone basically that they want to game night, except of course those two losers. And then Lala, Katie, Scheana, Ariana, and Allie go outside to talk. And Allie's like, hey guys, guess what? Joe texted me and I'm getting drinks with her. And they're all like, oh no.
Oh my God.
And then Katie's like, you're in danger.
I was like, danger? Damn.
That's awesome. So, as we said, Joe and Kristen Doty were best friends. And so that's how Katie and them met Joe.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so Katie hates Joe, probably because of how cringy she is and annoying. But also, when Katie's divorce was announced, Joe sent her a text that read, because I read it.
My God.
Bieber loves you, / I love you, and I'm so supporting of your inner thoughts and visions, / live in the moment, you're a gem, and I've always respected you. I love you, XO Joe.
Okay, on its head,
Meredith,
just that you received just that text, and like, that's not your close friend after you get divorced. I would be like, what?
I would think I'm in danger too.
Like, ma'am.
And then after that really supportive divorce text, a few months later, she's living with Schwartz. So Katie's over.
We don't have time for it. And that's okay. Like, Katie's like, I don't want to deal with her at all. I don't want to deal with any of this drama, any of this mess. Just like, don't be in my life is the energy Katie is giving. And I love that.
Which is
like,
fine. I love it. I love it. Please
Joe.
don't bring Joe around me. Yeah.
Stop making Joe a storyline, Vanderpump Rules. Get out of here.
So Sandoval, to add to his captive potato chip line, he tells everyone that he took a shit.
I hate when people do this. It is one of my biggest icks of like, like friends and even a significant other if they did this. Like, we don't need to discuss this. Like, this does not need to be like party talk.
Well, everyone was just like, "Where'd you go?" And he could just say the bathroom.
The bathroom.
Like, I took a giant shit. You got like what the fuck? I'd be like, "Ew." Okay, so
don't ever do this with me.
Then Scheana and Schwartz talk, and Sandoval joins, and they talk about the pool party. And Sheena's like, "Oh, I heard it was a sexy singles pool party because Ariana made jokes and whatever." And Sandoval's like, "See, this is why people think I'm a bad guy. I'm like not." And Schwartz brings up like how they had a very nice Rat Pack guys night. And Sheena's like, "Oh, I heard about it." Obviously, her husband was there. And then Scheana says that she heard that Sandoval feels like Rachel abandoned him. And Sheena's like, "Can you just like accept that you also hurt Rachel and manipulated Rachel?"
Because Sandoval has walked up.
Scheana says that all to Sandoval and how like maybe Sandoval should just take some responsibility for hurting Rachel. And she tells Sandoval to apologize to Katie for getting involved in her marriage. Sandoval, as Scheana tells us, used to live on this moral high ground. But if he had some self-awareness, maybe they can take some baby steps forward. So Scheana again tells Sandoval he's hurt a lot of people, and if he could just take care of his ego. Sandoval interrupts with, "It's not an ego thing." And Sheena's like, "Stop being defensive. I'm being calm."
Which I'm like, if it's not an ego thing, then what is it? Because something is triggering you to be so defensive. It can only be
towards Scheana, who you had in the palm of your hands, and you just... Because then
here's the thing, Sheena's approaching this conversation so well too. She's so calm. She's not attacking him. Like I will say, like, there are some moments where like it's not going to be a productive conversation with him because I understand why his defenses get heightened. Like anybody's ego would get heightened. So like I understand why his does in some conversations, but like this one, Sheena's really meeting where you are at. Like you guys are on the path to friendship again. In a sense, she's like, I'm sure in his mind, like Sheena's more on his side than she was like at the reunion, you know, like they're budding friendship again. So why are you getting so triggered anytime anybody brings this up?
Ugh, he's just, I feel like I'm crazy listening to this man. Anyway, so he's getting defensive with Scheana. He's like, "I'm tired of being the scapegoat." And Sheena's like, "It's just having some self-awareness." And then Sheena's basically like, "I'm trying to help you. And if you're not going to listen, this is the end." And she walks away.
Yes, Scheana.
And immediately James turns to Tom. Sandoval goes, "What did you do?" And Sandoval's like, "It's not me." I was like, I love James. Not even for a second did he think Scheana did anything wrong.
No.
And James is just like, "Your whole fucking life is crumbling. Stop acting like this." Sandoval says he's not going to grovel to these motherfuckers anymore.
Which nobody asked you to grovel. Nobody is asking you to grovel. The way
everybody makes mistakes.
Like he has to beg for forgiveness. I personally, I don't know if anybody else, but I don't need him to be on his hands and knees groveling for forgiveness from these people. It just, I want understanding
him, to honestly say that he was a cheater, a liar, a manipulator. He was using Ariana. He was using Rachel to get best of both worlds. I genuinely just need that.
I don't think we'll ever get that, but like we could build up to that. But even just acknowledgement of like, yeah, like I understand that could be the response to Scheana. And I think honestly, Scheana would cease to exist where we're at if he would just be like, I understand.
Agreed. So he leaves. He's angry. See you never. So then
the storming out. I love the dramatics that narcissists give.
That's ridiculous. So we go to Scheana and Brock's apartment, and guess who's home? It's Summer Moon, baby, star of the show. How could you block her? So Brock's been trying to talk to Scheana for a long time, for as long as Summer Moon's been alive, which has been 824 days, about maybe getting a nanny, but Sheena's not listening. So we got Gabby. Gabby's the new potential nanny. She's coming over, and Brock's like, hey, I talked to Gabby. She said she could cook for Summer Moon. And Brock's really trying to talk about this nanny, but Sheena's too busy like drawing mad faces to Summer and saying like, we can't have a nanny because our schedule is not consistent. And Brock, he does get a little loud, but he's like, our schedule's not consistent because we don't have the nanny. And Sheena's like, lower the tone, Sandoval. And I went, you gotta stop calling other men Sandoval. Lindsay did it. Sheena's doing it. Oh my God. Not it.
No, it makes the person who calls someone Sandoval like look bad. Like it's not a good look. Cut it out, Bravo. Like folks, yeah.
So Brock is unaffected because he's our favorite B-list character. And he's like, he goes, no schedule affects my schedule. And Scheana goes, Brock, I love you, but I don't like you right now. And Brock's like, listen. So Brock explains to us, he's trying to figure out what's next in his career, but he can't because his schedule is crazy because he's always dealing with the Summer Moon stuff and not having help, and there's no nanny, and he just wants some freaking routine. So,
which go Brock for fighting, like for what he needs. This is becoming like more respectful. He has had moments where he's like at his wit's end, you can kind of tell, but like get your daughter a nanny. Like screw Scheana, to be honest, and just like set your own schedule. Like whether Sheena's there or not, hire the nanny.
I love it. So Gabby's here. And immediately, per usual, Summer Moon loves to play with someone new. So she's hanging out with Gabby. I don't know why Sheena's worried. So then Brock and Scheana walk away, and Brock's like, hey, how was the Belmont? And Sheena's like, oh, I tried to talk to Sandoval, and he's not taking accountability, so I walked away and went to Ariana and Katie. And Brock is like, wow, I can't believe Ariana was there. And Sheena's like, yeah, we had a great conversation the other day. And Brock's like, no, I love that. But Brock he has a good point. He says that Ariana hasn't had time to take a breath, and he's worried that when the world slows down, she might not be so well, which I think is a fair concern.
A valid point, yes.
Which also I would be worried about. I actually don't know even in current time if her life has really slowed down because she went from Dancing with the Stars to Broadway.
I don't think so. And Scheana says like God hoping like it never does. And like I think I don't know if it'll have this dramatic drop off that kind of Brock kind of alluded to. I think it'll just kind of have a slow come down, so like she'll ease out of it. But also like something about her's about to open up, I heard. Like I just think there will continue to be spikes in their life while they're on television of like constant interest. I think Ariana's always been a somewhat interesting character, and I just don't think she really cares about the fame and attention like other people do. I think she just likes to keep busy in whatever project that excites her. So I do also think it is different between like the Brock Scheana household and Ariana household.
Yeah, definitely. So we go back to Sandoval and Ariana's house. Katie brought a bunch of snacks for game night. Sandoval, per usual, he's in his workout room and he's reflecting on last night. And he doesn't think the reason Schwartz and Katie got divorced is because of him, but he wants to listen to Scheana because he wants to be friends again. So,
which I'm excited he's willing to acknowledge. Like, I don't think Sandoval's the entire reason they got divorced. It is not on him at all, to be honest. Not. But understanding where you affect other people's lives is still important. Yeah. And this is super off topic, and I feel called upon saying this. Sandoval really is ripped right now. Like, his calves are insane.
Ew. Yeah, you're right. He's working
we're
out
seeing a lot of him in the gym though, and he like clearly is prioritizing that with which go him, like, prioritize what makes you happy. And this gym is like truly decked out. He's talked about like that's why he doesn't want to sell the house. Like, I mean, he clearly spends a lot of time in there.
He loves his gym, yeah.
Yeah.
So Ariana gets a text from Anne that says Sandoval is coming down to make a protein shake. So Ariana's like, I'm going to go upstairs to do my makeup. Katie, can you continue to set up? And Katie's like, okay. And so I literally was like, oh no, Sandoval and Katie come face to face. Oh, what's going to happen? I was pumped. So Sandoval tells Katie he's been doing some thinking and he wants to apologize for how he acted during the divorce. And Katie in her head knows that this is bullshit. She gives us an interview where she just rolls her eyes because apologies are just words. But she's like, kind of like, thanks, whatever. So they get to talking about like their relationship. And Katie says it's just fathomless that he carried on with an affair like that. And Sandoval, it's like brother, sister arguing. Sandoval goes, fathomless? Like, you can't fathom I would do that? And Katie's like, no, I can't, because I walked away from a marriage because I wasn't happy, but I didn't start fucking his friends. And I was like, ooh, she got him.
I've never connected that like Sandoval says he was really unhappy in his relationship, and that's completely okay. Like, it's okay to be unhappy, but like Katie was too. Like, she did the right thing and she ended her relationship and left, and that is a really hard thing to do. And like, I've never thought about Katie's view on this and how like she took that road. She took the right path in how to like exit yourself from an unhappy relationship.
Well, then also when he says, oh, I couldn't break up with Ariana, it was too hard, Katie can look at him and be like, I did it.
I know exactly what you were probably feeling.
And I had to go through a divorce. Excuse me. Yeah.
I mean, with Ariana and Sandoval owning a house together, it's
basically a divorce
to marriage. Yeah. Like, you've got legal issues going on, but like Katie knows exactly how that feels.
Exactly. So Sandoval's like, we aren't the same people, Katie. And Katie's like, obviously.
Yeah.
And Katie says she was in love with someone who was never going to love her the way she wanted and deserved to be loved. And she knows exactly what that's like. So Sandoval tells Katie he's trying to grow. And Katie's like, then stop explaining about it and go start moving differently. And Sandoval says, I'm trying. And Katie's like, what? Like having like parties? Sandoval's like, Katie, you don't understand what people are doing to me. They get upset when I'm wearing the color blue. And Katie's like, do you really think inviting random strangers to the house you're cohabitating at is a good idea? It's giving audacity. And Sandoval's like, Katie, can you just give me a little bit of grace? And Katie says, no.
I said no at the same time she did. I was like, no. Because the way he goes down to getting hate for like wearing the color blue, and like that's the story he wants to tell, like, be fucking for real right now. Like, you have to be the victim in every point in your life. Like, you can't even ignore the little bit of hate that, like, I think he is getting a lot of hate, and like it is an extreme amount. But like, you can't even cut through the bullshit noise hate. Like, come on.
I got to be honest. I wasn't paying attention to Sandoval or his motives in this at all because I was so into Katie Maloney.
The energy she gives is just unbothered. Like, she does not get worked up in a happiness or sadness or mad or any. She does not give any emotional capacity away to this man. Like, I want to case study her.
When someone says, can you give me some grace? And you respond with no. That's savage. So Sandoval says he apologized and was remorseful at the reunion, which we see where everyone's like, put your crocodile tears away. I love
the worm with a mustache.
And it's still not good enough for Katie Maloney. And Sandoval tells Katie he will stay out of the way. And Katie tells Sandoval to give Ariana more decency. And he says they need to have a conversation. And Katie says she wants to sell the house. So And he says, balls in her court. And he
It's
leaves
not.
and he goes, have a nice day. And she goes, thanks. She won't even say you too to this man. She's so hot.
She left no crumbs. She left no like joy for him. She did not give him any like relief. And like, why should you? He does not give anything to you. So like, why give anything to him? Why give grace?
So
why give
hot. She is
even
so
a thank
hot.
you?
She's amazing. So Sandoval's upstairs and then Schwartz gets here. He just goes upstairs. He's like, I'm avoiding. And so Sandoval shows Schwartz's journal because he's not drinking and journaling. And that's his way of connecting with Rachel because she's doing those things. So you know what that means? He doesn't care about journaling and being sober. He's only doing that with Rachel. So
he's doing it like to get a gold star from either the audience or like from Rachel, and it's really gross. Like you don't have the right. He never has the right intentions behind things to just do it to better himself.
He also has a bunch of pictures of her, and her face is blurred out.
Which I mean, like,
we don't know.
I know. Well, like legally, they probably have to. I bet she would try to sue them for showing her face.
Yeah, but it's just funny. Like, Rachel, you're really we already know it's you. We already have tapes of. Just give us the pictures, you know.
Oh, come on! She would never. She won't even let Ariana off the hook for having a reaction when she found out her boyfriend was cheating on her.
Boo. So he thought him and Rachel would have been together when they got out, and now he's figuring out that will never happen. So to show how sad he is, he goes into the closet.
Him going against like surfaces and like turning his back and like crying.
And then he turns around and he goes, sorry, dude, because Schwartz is just like, what do I do?
I like after that article where I forget where it was, but where like the journalist was like, his whole life is a reality TV show. Like, I believe it. This man, I think, has very little thought about these things and like self-producing. He just does. He's just like, this is where I cry now.
He puts himself in the walk-in closet and just sobs.
Sorry.
And then
I can't.
Schwartz is like, hey man, I feel like you're at the tail end of this. And Sandoval goes, I don't. I'm being treated like Scott Peterson, the convicted murderer.
Which, like, is such a niche comparison. Like, I know there was a Hulu documentary a few years ago, but like, it took me a minute to remember what that name was.
Is he a criminal? I thought about it for a second. I was like, that name sounds so familiar.
Yeah.
Scott Peterson was put away years ago. And so
they recently had a documentary on Hulu, and so that's why the name is relevant again. But again, that was during like 2021.
So he's now comparing himself to a man who's serving a life sentence for killing his wife and his unborn child. Because you bet once I remembered who Scott Peterson was. So not only has he done this, but he's also compared himself to the O.J. Simpson trial.
Yep.
And to what was the other one? Oh, George Floyd.
Most egregious.
You gotta fucking be kidding me.
So then his comparisons are just insane.
But okay, he's being treated like someone who actually was convicted of killing his wife and unborn child. So I just don't. Am I dumb? What is he trying to prove?
If he thinks Scott Peterson is wrongfully convicted, and so he's making the comparison that he is like wrongfully persecuted for this like social crime.
Schwartz, like us, goes, didn't he murder his wife? And Sandoval goes, allegedly. Sir, this man is
I think that's what he's thinking is like, wow, this man was like crucified for something he didn't do, or like it was really blown out of proportion, and he's like, me and Scott Peterson, one and the same.
But can you really explain? I just don't. I think my logic ends at some point with Sandoval. I don't understand specifically here what he's trying. he's saying he's being treated like a convicted murderer.
No,
An alleged convict. Oh, an innocent. Think where he's saying an
making
innocent.
the comparison is that, wow, they really burned Scott Peterson at the stake. Whether he was right or wrong, this is not a true crime podcast. But even in Sandoval's mind is where we're at. So, like, I don't know what Sandoval thinks, if he's, like, guilty or not. But either way, Scott Peterson was burned at the stake so quickly, so rapidly, with, like, out all the facts, and it did blow up into this massive story and this, like, crazy thing. And, like, wow, he just, like, the social media circus of, like, he didn't deserve that.
Okay.
Is, I think, where he sits of, like, we went through this together. We both had these life experiences where, like, an incident happened and then a tornado of craziness came at us.
Well, he should write Scott Peterson in jail. He should write an inmate.
They should really become pen pals. I bet they can really bond over how they're the victims of life.
Yeah, incidents. Of course. I would love that. So Schwartz really wants to help Sandoval, and he invites Sandoval out tomorrow. Great. So now we cut to game night. Everyone looks so comfy. I'd like to shout out James in his sweatsuit that looked amazing that I want.
I didn't realize, because I didn't notice at the night out at the bar who all was invited. I saw Brock come in and it was just girls at that point, and I was like, Brock, get out of here. It's a girls' night.
Oh, no.
Other people
Brad
came,
got like, here. Yeah,
I was like, all right, Brock, you can stay.
Also, even if it was girls' night, Brock's the first to be like, what are we dishing about, and where are the face masks?
You know what? Scheana, you can actually stay home because you were unwilling to hire a nanny.
Yeah. Brock's like, I'm going to fucking girls' night, bitch. So, okay, Schwartz and Sandoval come down because they're going to leave, and they say hi, and it's super weird and awkward. Schwartz is like, hey, guys.
You weren't invited to the party. You just need to slip out. Like, Ariana did that when Sandoval was having a party. Be seen, not heard. Yeah.
So, we play Never Have I Ever. Just some highlights. Brock has had a threesome with 2 dudes.
I was so confused.
I need people to start telling stories or something. Like, I need him to give a life update. Just everything.
It's funny because when we get less of him, we want more of him.
Yeah, it's weird. Don't push homebody down my throat, but please tell me about the time you had a threesome with 2 dudes.
100%. And the farmer's daughter.
And the farmer's daughter, for sure. Scheana drinks because it was more of an orgy situation, and it's when she was with Your Body is a Wonderland,
I mean, Scheana does have some good life stories, too.
Oh, great. These two should... That's probably why they're together. They just swap life stories all day long. They don't actually talk about anything.
They one-up each other all day.
I would love them to just do a podcast where they try and one-up each other's life stories.
1000%.
You know how, like, My Favorite Murder, you each come with a story and tell the murder to the other person? That's this, but they both give a story. And then whoever lost has to go first the next week.
Love that. Like, oh my God, somebody needs to make a podcast of that. Kind of like the Never Have I Ever theme. And you come with your story of when I have ever.
Yeah, I love. Should we add another podcast to the bracket?
Oh, Jesus. I mean, well, we're looking to go full time, so maybe.
There we go. Okay, and Allie reads a card, and it's like, never have I ever dropped my pet in the middle of nowhere because I didn't want it anymore. They were all like, Lisa. Did Lisa give them this game?
Am I stupid? Like, production, can we all agree production went through that deck and was like, oh, these are good ones?
Yes.
Like, coincidences like this don't happen.
Yes. So then next day, Schwartz in his apartment is texting Jax, which I was like, okay.
That was
But we know Jax is showing up. We saw it.
Mm-hmm.
We knew. Scheana and Brock's apartment. This is only important because Summer Moon takes her medicine from the cup like a champ. And then after, she smiles directly at the camera.
Okay, but not also Scheana saying, yeah, that's how we take tequila shots.
Summer Moon is going to have the most interesting life in the world. Like, I wish I was Summer Moon.
We make comments like this to we used to be more, I think, outgoing with, like, drinking around my oldest nephew. And he has grown up understanding weird drinking culture things. That I'm like, what did we do to this child?
Oh no. Wait, side note tangent really quick. Just while we're on this note, someone posted a TikTok that was like, asked questions like, who would win if there was a drinking competition, like the UK or the United States? And everyone in the UK was like, the UK, the UK, the UK. And someone stitched it and goes, I would bet the state of Wisconsin could take down the UK.
Alone.
And she's like, they already bled the UK dry in one Packers game. 1.5 days, the UK ran out of all their alcohol. And I was really like, honestly, put Meredith and I in there because we're basically from Wisconsin too. We could do it.
I mean, yeah, I grew up with those drinking vibes. It's just...
So, we got it. No worries.
Yeah. No
Summer
comments.
Moon is one of us.
I can't wait till that girl turns 21.
Someone give Summer Moon a show when she turns 21. I would follow her to the ends of the earth.
Oh my God, like a reboot of Vanderpump Rules?
Yeah, but it's Summer Moon. And she's just talking about how her parents are like so crazy. And she's like, I don't care about them. I'm just going out and partying.
Can you imagine if like, you know how they like love to do the transitions? If like they take that clip of her throwing back that medicine and then the cup slams down and she's 21 years old and it's a shot?
I would scream.
I'm in. See you guys in like X amount of years. Brock or whoever the Bravo producer is, give me all the days till like
it would work because Scheana would be the mean girl's mom. She'd be like, I'm a cool mom.
That's the one downside.
No, but she'd be like, Summer Moon, where are we going to party?
I know, but it would give me like Monica from Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Like, I want to be the main cast member vibes.
Hey man, rock out. But Summer Moon's just like, I don't even care. I'm going to ditch my mom.
Oh my God.
She ditches Scheana. It'd be amazing. So, back to the show that actually exists. We go to Tom Tom. So we're having a boys' night. It's James, Brock, Sandoval, and Schwartz. And then we also we cut back in between with the bar where Joe and Allie are doing the birth chart stuff. So, yeah, great. So at Tom Tom, Brock's like, Schwartz, what's going on with you and Joe? And Schwartz is like, we're not dating. And Joe knows that. And then we cut back to the bar and Allie's like, you and Schwartz have such friendship vibes. And Joe's like a little sad. And then
Joe has
Allie's
like a sad, like initial, like what reaction?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
and then Allie's like, oh, but friends date too. And Joe's like, ooh, Arriba, whatever she says.
Not Allie trying to like make Joe feel better. I'm like, no, like we gotta stop this. For Joe's own sanity. It makes me, this whole situation makes me feel bad for Joe. And then Joe makes one face or does a cringy little thing. And I'm like, I don't feel bad for Joe anymore. But then like something happens and I'm like, wow, if this was just like we never saw this character, I would feel bad for this person. But Joe, I just cannot stomach.
But also, just so people know, I asked my mom for my exact time of birth. And I know my chart. I don't know what any of it means.
Wait, let's talk about it. I'll look into it and see if I can become a masterful astrology chart thing. Just some like little buzzword things if I can learn. And let's talk about our charts.
I got cosine.
Stop. On the Summer House pre-show.
Okay, so really quick, in case you guys were wondering, I'm a Scorpio, which I knew that. But my moon is in Taurus and I ascend into Leo, which I think are your big three.
I don't know, but we'll Google them and we can learn about them.
So in case you guys were wondering, that's what that means.
That's who Alicia is. Like, yikes.
That's me in three things.
So, I better have friendship vibes, whatever your sign is in my whatever house.
We just are like not compatible. They're like, do not go into business together. And we're like, 3 podcasts later. So we cut back to Tom Tom. And Schwartz shares that the girls hate Joe. And Sandoval gets so up in arms because to him that's total bullshit. because what? Schwartz is only hooked up with Rachel and Joe, and Katie has a problem with both of them. And I went, wow, the Rachel, whoa. Well, I feel like we don't even need to explain.
But like base level, why are we acting like it's weird to not love the person your ex-husband is hooking up with? Like that's base level. And then both of these instances have like both Rachel and Joe have these like weird doing it behind her back, like in the friend group. Like this is just uncomfortable.
Katie said, don't hook up with anyone in the friend group.
Yeah.
So just an idea. Anyway, so then we go back to the bar and Allie's like, Joe, oh no, Allie. She goes, I want you to feel welcomed in the group. And Joe says, it's hard because Katie called me an anorexic crackhead whore. Listen, that's mean.
Yes.
I
feel bad for her about, because I was on like a comment on an Instagram and that blew up.
I'm not going to say it's not funny.
She wasn't on the show yet. She wasn't on the show yet, so I do feel bad. Like she became blasted when she was not a part of this.
The anorexic part was wild. That's super wrong. The crackhead part
also wrong.
It's wrong, but I get it.
Hilarious. It's the James level chaos and so funny the string that gets put together.
Katie took on James and wrote that comment.
This is not funny, but so funny.
It was hilarious. When Joe said it too, like hearing a person be like, I got called an anorexic crackhead whore. I was like, oh,
I mean,
rough.
like,
rough
Grandma at Christmas called me an anorexic crackhead whore. Like, sorry, Grandma.
Rough for you. I don't know. So whatever. Then we go to Tom Tom. Finally, the bar is over. See you never. Okay, so at Tom Tom, Schwartz talks about how he wants to be single, and he reminisces on what it was like to grow up together in your 20s in West Hollywood. And Brock's like, that sounds crazy. And Schwartz is like, you have no idea. And we get a bunch of flashbacks. And then as the flashbacks end, guess who's walking his ass right up into Tom Tom?
Oh,
it's Jax Taylor. There's no surprise. So Jax is like, hey guys. And James was so happy to see Jax. That's who I was looking at. My dude James.
I feel like they don't have any beef because they're not on a show together.
I know, but I love how much beef they did always have for no reason. So Sandoval's clearly unhappy. Schwartz is hoping Jax can give him advice since Jax has also dabbled in infidelity. Like it's just something we tested out, you know?
Oh God. When Jax is your like guru for public opinion on cheating, it's just like you have to, that should be your wake up call that like this is really bad.
It was so funny. Schwartz is like, this is the answer.
This is your saving grace. This is the person who can bring you back from the dead because every other resource has been exhausted.
That's, you know what, if you ever tell me that Jax Taylor is my last hope at public redemption, I'm done. I just know I'm done.
Immediately check me into a dual like alcohol rehab and mental health rehab and like I will get my life together if Jax is my only hope. Yeah.
So James is like, hey man, what you been up to? And Jax is like, funny you should ask. I'm opening a sports bar called Jax, which will feature Mama's beer cheese. He doesn't say it, but it's on the menu.
But we know.
And Brock's like, hey, if you need some help, I know some guys who have opened a bar before. And Jax goes, I would never ask that.
Which, like, the way I'm on, like, Jax's side this entire conversation, Same. I'm like, I agree.
Same. Never call
I agree. And Sandoval is so offended. But it's like, do you think that Schwartz and Sandy's was like a huge success? The up until opening. Do you think like that was the right way to do things? I understand you can learn from mistakes, but still, I think like he would go to Lisa first. And let's be honest, you had nothing to do with Tom Tom.
It was set up perfectly like a volleyball volley.
I mean,
he was like, I know two dudes who have done that. And Jax is like, never in a million years.
No,
and Sandoval's all pouty and he's like, Jax always tries to compete with me.
Wow.
So then Jax turns to Sandoval and is like, hey, I can't even say it. He's like, hey, what are you up to? You look better than the photo I saw on social media. You looked 50. Fuck. Also, fuck your white nail polish. And I went, I think he's almost 50, though. I think he's almost 50. So
you guys, let's be real for a minute. You are both close to 50, closer to 50 then.
Approaching it. But it was so funny how hard he came out of the gate. Like, he's like.
And listen, I'm all for anybody doing whatever they want with their nails, no matter the gender or whatever your heart desires. But Sandoval's love for his white nail polish is like to an extreme. He loves that more than his 10-year relationship, than his friendship with
toes are
Scheana.
white. His toes are white in this episode.
That Jax hitting him where it hurts most, the white nail polish, is chef's kiss.
Basically insulted his band, you know?
Fuck. I mean, we're almost there. Like, that's what I bet that was on the cutting room floor. There's no way Jackson didn't insult that.
Of course. So Sandoval is like, oh, you seem to be really into my life because you can't stop talking about me on your podcast. Jax is like, well, the whole world's talking about you.
True. Very true.
And he's like, I've also done wrong, so I could talk about it. And then Jax also tells him,
a self-aware king. Maybe the only problem
Jack says the only problem he's had with it was how Sandoval handled it. But that's okay. It's okay to say you fucked up because Jax has learned that many times on this show. We have seen it.
I will give Jax a little bit of credit because he does better than Sandoval. He at some point finally breaks down and is like, all right, here's everything I did.
He ends up being a truther somewhere. Well, he does the bad thing, but he truths about it later, you know?
He truths about it, then he says that those people are liars and he is the truther of all truthers and spins what is actually a lie. And then by the reunion, he hits rock bottom and he becomes the legit truther.
He doesn't really apologize. He always somehow can just get out of it, you know?
He does acknowledge wrongdoing. Like, he does acknowledge the situation was wrong. He doesn't say, I'm sorry. He never
apologizes.
No,
absolutely not. Okay, so Sandoval's like, I did say I fucked up. Like, you just keep talking about me. And Jax tells Sandoval to humble himself. And they're just arguing. They're literally just going back and forth. And I say that a lot when there's like actual stuff being said. This is literally the same stuff. And then Schwartz is sinking back in his chair and he's like, oh no, this didn't go how I planned.
How could you think this was a good idea? These two used to fight back in the day about being number one guy in the group. Like, come on.
How could I have seen this coming? Oh no.
I can't.
But you know, James and Brock are like, I can't wait to go home and tell my women that this has happened. This is amazing.
They're just like, I love that I'm not a part of this and I get to watch this ringside with good food and drinks. Like, I'm in.
Brock was in Australia with a farmer's daughter when this was happening. He was fucking busy, you know? No idea.
Brock wishes he was there back in the OG, let's be honest.
Yeah, he's like, it sounds crazy, you guys.
I missed out.
So they continue to argue. James is cracking up. And then Jack says, his life is the best it's ever been, and he's happy. And Sandoval's a disgrace. Like, oh my! But you get separated from your wife a few weeks later, a few months later.
Jax, you were doing so well. The minute you then say you're doing incredible, you lost me.
It's so funny. So I didn't get a next time. Was there a next time?
I didn't either. And I was like, okay, is that because I hardcore declined watching The Valley? Or is that just because...
No,
I don't think they gave it because I've heard, I didn't watch it live, but I've heard they tried to do the seamless transition thing, but they actually didn't plan it correctly. I thought Jax was going to walk out of this conversation. It was truly going to roll right into The Valley. But I heard it transitioned with interview chairs, not with a walkout like we have seen in other shows past.
Oh, damn it. That would have been a great way to start The Valley.
Oh my God, yeah. Even like I thought for a minute this scene was a pickup where they did it months later to then do the transition, you know, and they probably redid a conversation that like did actually happen because it felt kind of staged. But then nothing happened. So I think Jax, I don't actually know. Again, I'm hardcore not doing The Valley, but I saw a clip or a picture of him then sitting, and it was truly a green screen. Like it didn't have the picture put on it. But he was sitting on the chair, and like that's what I kind of heard was like the roll into the valley.
That makes sense. Okay,
Yeah.
solid. So, Meredith, we got to do accepted and blocked.
We do.
I went first last week. You can go first this week.
You can go first.
I don't have anyone. I haven't thought about it.
Okay. I was going to say, I went first quite a few weeks in a row, and I know
That's
you were
okay.
sad about that.
I haven't thought about anyone.
Let's do accepted first. I'm going Ariana. I feel like she's taking her life back, and she's like holding no prisoners on like what she's going to do in her life. She's not being apologetic. I think she's coming around to like addressing the problems in a very healthy way. Like she asked Scheana to come over. She asked Scheana, like, what is she not telling her? And I think she's showing interest in Sheena's feelings, but she's not going to like apologize or feel bad for like getting Dancing with the Stars. And
that's a good one.
Same with showing up to the bar and hosting a party at her own house. Like, I think she's back to like living her life and not like hiding in her bedroom.
I am accepting Katie because she is my new celebrity crush. Yes. And also
she is you, you are her.
And I don't mean this in a rude way, but I think she's queen of mean. She does it so fucking well. It makes me want to figure out how to do that. She can let you know she is frosty to you just by entering a fucking room. And I love that. And she also made up with Lala. So I'll give her that.
Let's take back the mean word, and like instead of it being this like negative connotation of like you're bad, it's like, no, I'm gonna be mean. Like,
look at Meredith starting a revolution for the girlies.
Who cares? Who cares what other people think about us? I'm going to be mean in both contexts of the word, in our new empowered version, but also I would love to be mean to a bunch of men.
I'm already mean always, so I love Queen of Mean.
But Katie consistently mean.
Katie was great. I also love her yelling. It's not yelling, but talking to Sandoval and like putting him in his place. It was fantastic. Also, gold star to Scheana for trying, but not quite making it.
I know. She tried. Get a nanny and you might get accepted, Scheana.
She tried her best. She tried her best. Who are you blocking? There's just so many. Scott Peterson, probably.
Jax Taylor's not up for grabs, right?
No, you can't block Jax. He was here for 5 minutes. I'll give you Scott Peterson if you want to block. No, I'm just kidding.
He's already blocked away in jail. I mean,
could we do the twins, the moron twins?
Yeah, because I was gonna say, I feel like I'm gonna do Schwartz and then you can do Sandoval. Like, the Schwartz is like, oh no, I care about public opinion, but I'm gonna whisper to you that like, nice job, dude, on getting two girls' numbers. But I just have to out loud say that I don't approve of this.
Yeah, both of them. I mean, Sandoval comparing himself to a convicted murderer.
As if that would bring him this sympathy.
I can't. The two of them are two fucking idiots that are like, I share a brain. Like, these two have nothing for me. I'm not there. If you're a Schwartz sympathizer, I don't understand it. Anyway, let's talk about some things we got some notes from the Patreon. I would like to say the numbering. Amazing. I'm not scared to read this at all.
Love it all. Oh my gosh, Alicia. Yay. Gold star to all of our patrons who submitted.
I'm confident in my abilities. Okay, so Tonette says, I'm aware that Jax allegedly did and or said some possible racial things. Sorry. But the last 5 minutes of this episode was its finest. Jax keeps it real, and that's why him and James enjoy one another's company. Watching James's face while Jax was talking was comparable to watching Jax's face during the season 5 reunion when James imitated Stassi, British voice, crawling back from New York. That's very
so
true.
Funny because we just watched that. I don't mind Jax being on Vanderpump Rules for the last 5 minutes because like Kristen came back last season. Like, I'm here for like a small redemption, but to give them a whole show, I don't really stand by personally.
I don't get that. Yeah. So maybe Jax is what Andy Cohen was talking about in his Instagram stories when he said the season got good. I don't know, but I'm liking Jax on my screen again. No, I think it's the last few episodes coming up that the season gets good.
I mean, we still haven't even, in the mid-season review, we also didn't even get the like Scheana Schwartz kiss content. So like
what the fuck is that?
We have only, after this one, 6 more episodes to go. And so like it's gonna roll hot and heavy quick, you know?
So Chrissy says, Schwartz coming in hot with the common sense about not trying to meet up with girls under the same roof he's living in with his ex he cheated on. Yeah, love it. Even if he is only saying it because he knows it makes him look a little more on Ariana's side. Agreed. But you know what? Whatever. 2, I cringed so hard at Sandoval's awkward chat with the girls. What the fuck? I would have run for the hills, even before he mentioned having his roommate locked in the closet. Yeah, it was. I will never forget that.
I mean, fact that he did give her the whole bedroom. He did give her the whole bedroom, not just the closet.
The fact he did that and then compared himself to an actual convicted murderer that killed his wife. I don't know. I just feel like.
I mean, and then months later leveled up to even more egregious comparisons. Like this
I will never get over the George Floyd one. That was crazy. Okay, so 3, Ariana finally coming out and stating her claim has got me screaming, or staking her claim, sorry, has got me screaming. Finally, I'm here for her taking back her power and her friends and moving on from this garbage situation. Agreed. 4, Scheana calling Brock Sandoval crossed a line, but also as a married woman, I dislike my husband often over dumb things. Don't come at me. Never. You should dislike your husband.
No, I get that. Maybe just don't call him Sandoval.
But I love him to death, so I feel her with that. Yes, Meredith and I are not married, but we constantly say that we love ourselves, but we don't like ourselves. So we get it.
I think with every person, you can go in between. It's just maintaining.
Agreed.
And what's funny is Schwartz was the opposite. I think he's somewhat liked, or well, I guess no, he loved Katie a little bit, not fully,
but he hated her too. Yeah, he was both.
Yeah, that's true. Never
5. I couldn't have asked for anything more than what we got from Jax. Yeah, he just came in hot and angry and like, okay.
That's all I needed. That is all I needed, though.
Exactly. Okay, and then Lauren says, 1, Katie and Lala continue to show that women are the strength of the show this season. Their ability to talk through their disagreements makes Sandoval's non-apologies look even more ridiculous. I would have liked this more if I felt like they were going to stay on good terms. In any case, I appreciate their conversation and their safe word for what it is. That's right. They have a safe word for their friendship if they're going too hard at each other. Croissant. Yeah, the women in this show was just impeccable. I'm sad we wasted so many seasons on the men. You know?
Because it's like, I'll say normal drama and they work through it, and then it just like, we have the like, a moment happens, chaos, and then recovery. Yeah. And like, we get to go through that, and it actually is still interesting. I'm not bored. We don't need such intense drama all the time.
Agreed. So, also, Bravo has proved with the Housewives that female friendships are some of the most interesting in the entire world. The complexities, I'm in.
Yep.
So, 2, Sandoval needs to never talk on screen again. He is almost enough to make me consider quitting the show. Almost. No, never. It's only hilarious, Lauren, you know? Hilarious.
It's not depressing at all.
What limited enjoyment I get out of the first few minutes of Jax was ruined by watching him be the old Jax on the Valley. The man-child has not changed one bit. I knew it was right to not watch. I knew it.
See?
Thank you, Lauren.
That's where you went wrong. Lauren. Thank you for approving our decision.
I knew it. Also, she says, because sometimes I always think there are 2 Laurens, but there's not. There's only one Lauren, and she says it's just her. And that's why this Lauren is the patron of our episode.
Nice. I think there's 2 Sarahs.
There are 2 Sarahs.
Yeah. We got Bachelor contestants going on. Sarah.
So sorry.
S and Sarah. I'm so sorry. I don't remember last names.
You didn't get either of those. But you're right, Lauren. It's just you and you're the star. And if honestly you want to like tell us how the Valley's going, please don't give us a whole synopsis because we don't care. But if you want to just tell us like how you enjoy it or like what you like about it or if like it's working or not, we would love that.
Yeah, I really want people to keep us posted on my Friday Bravo Thoughts post on the Patreon. It's a great place for patrons to like cross discuss shows, but Tierney also promised to keep me updated, but I want everyone's opinions on the Valley.
Yeah, please.
So thank you for suffering through it for me.
Okay, is there anything else that we need to discuss before I bring us out? Basically, do all the things, leave all the reviews, leave all the ratings, download our episode, check out all of our TikToks and Instagrams and Patreons, check out our other podcasts. Love us so much. DM us, maybe tell us how much you love us.
Never stop thinking about me and Scheana.
Tell me.
Don't forget about Scheana.
Don't forget about Scheana. That's like number one on our list of things to do. Okay, Meredith, you got anything before I bring us out?
No.
Awesome. Well, with that, forget what you heard and remember where you heard it first.